I'm interested in the river, and I've always been interested in, slightly bemused by the river being a kind of blank space in the middle of Dumfries. And so the idea was to try and animate the river, draw people's attention to it. Dumfries used to be a port, so we thought about the ships that used to come up the river, and it came out of that, really. There's been a tendency to demonize the river because of flooding, and the schemes that have been hanging around for years about, building flood defences and so on, I think have meant that the river's not treated in the way it should be, in the way it deserves, really. I mean, it's the centre of the town. It used to be the lifeblood of the town, really. And it's a beautiful river. It's interesting because it's tidal all the way up. The Call is an interesting historic feature, which used to run the mill. So there's a lot of reasons to take a better interest in the river, really. And things like the Nithraid and various other events that we've done on the river in the town and elsewhere have been an attempt to, reanimate it, make people take better notice of it, really. The future of the river, actually, I think, is going to be very significant from a climate change point of view. We've got a sort of critical meeting in Dumfries of the tide and the normal flow of the river, which the flow of the river is quite extreme when there's a lot of rain in the catchment, because of drainage, agricultural policy, etc., the water comes down in a spike. And if sea level rises, which according to the news over the last few days, is now a dead certainty, really. I think that's going to make a huge difference. And that's going to be more significant than anything else, really. Mm. How it's going to play out is another question. I have no idea. But, it's a low-lying area. I don't know how many feet above sea level. Well, Dumfries isn't really above sea level as the tide gets here. The sailing. I think sailing up the river is, there's something magical about it, really. And it is a bit of a challenge from a sailing point of view because of the bridges. So long as you've got a following wind and the tide under you, you're going to make it anyway, even if you just drifted up. But the bridge is interesting. Sailing into the town, fantastic feeling, really. Had some extreme water experiences, not least on La Malouine, but other things like that. And I think, I don't know, maybe Roy will have definitely much more experience, but more to say about this than I have. That there's something about extreme experience, which if you survive it, I suppose, or at least come through it, not totally put off by the medium you're in, then somehow that's affirming in some way. I don't know how else to describe that, really. No. I think the thing about water for me is quite a subconscious thing, really. There's a interesting representation of, the surface of water, what's beneath it, what we can't see, what we don't understand, reflecting our subconscious. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting from that point of view too. There are a million ways in which we can take much better we can pay much more attention to the condition of our water. And I mean, I'm currently working on a project to do with that, really, but it's much too complicated to explain in this context. But I think that our rivers have been regarded as drains, really, and we should start thinking about what else they mean to us. Water is a very valuable resource. We get a hell of a lot of rain, so it seems cheap. But in fact, clean water is a really valuable thing. And I think we should take it much more seriously than we do. Well, I would like to see people living along the river. I would like to see the river celebrated much more in an everyday way. I mean, Nithraid is a great thing because once a year we do something on the river and it's colourful and fun. But if more people lived along the river and we paid better attention to it, people would celebrate it on a daily basis, I think. It's one of our best natural features. Well, it's fantastic fun doing Nithraid. Just come along and try it. I mean, it's a great experience, and all the different forms of rowing, sailing, and so on. It's all inclusive. It can include anything, really. We had somebody who wanted to swim it this year. I think that's actually not possible. But there's a opportunity there for a swimming race up the Nith, a wild swimming race. That would be great if people did that. Use the river. It's a great thing.